As we all know, the Morning Watch is sponsored by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
The report is out.
What report?
The Constitutional Reform Committee's report of recommendations.
Recommendations on what?
On how we move from a monarchy to a republic, of course.
So what's in it?
The creation of the office of president and changes to our parliament. Yes, man. It also includes a new qualification for membership in parliament. I know you want to see that one.
Read the full report at roadtorepublic.mlca.gov.jm.
We are on the road to republic.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you are overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us by the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live in the first watch. An Olympics opening ceremony that mocks Christianity. And in the second watch, Olympics 2024 so far. For our social media question, we ask, what are you looking forward to most this Olympic Games? Share your responses in our Facebook or YouTube. Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your comments later on the program, but first, here's I quote.
All right, so today's I quote says, gold medals aren't really made of gold. They're made of sweat, determination, and a hard-to-find alloy called guts. This one is from Dan Gable.
I think it speaks for itself.
I agree.
The Main Watch will be back after this break.
Remember every dream where you have, remember everything where you plan. With J and Bank, anything possible. With a little savings in your hand. Save so you can. Build the house, buy the land. Do up goals and dreams like a plan. Save so you can.
Living your best life and making memories is priceless. But saving little by little is what makes it affordable. Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
The report is out.
What report?
The Constitutional Reform Committee's report of recommendations.
Recommendations on what?
On how we move from a monarchy to a republic, of course.
So what's in it?
The creation of the office of president and changes to our parliament. Yes, man. It also includes a new qualification for membership in parliament. I know you want to see that one.
Read the full report at roadtorepublic.mlca.gov.jm.
We are on the road to republic.
We all trust the traditional home remedies of our parents, especially when they've been passed down through generations. Benjamin's Honey Time captures the same trusted home remedy tradition in a bottle. Get relief from irritating cold symptoms, cough, and sore throat with the warm, comforting taste of honey, rum, and lime. Benjamin's Honey Time, the formula that works with the soothing taste of tradition. Benjamin's, a trusted name for over a century.
I am Megan Topol, Olympic 100-meter hurdles bronze medalist. At 5'1", I've always been asked, how you manage to clear the hurdles so easily? Truth is, I've been overcoming hurdles all my life. How? Preparation. So I always prepare for every hurdle in life. And that's why I drink True Shake. With True Shake, I get 9 grams of protein and 24 essential vitamins. I may be short, but with True Shake, I am not short of anything.
Come on, True Shake and go!
welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the main watch, and the 2024 Olympic Games opening ceremony has been considered to be one of those, can I say, infamous opening ceremonies. It was an event that had persons questioning whether the religious beliefs of many persons was being not recognized in a favorable way. And there are allegations that Christianity was being mocked in the way certain things were presented at the opening ceremony. In fact, something appearing to be an apology was issued by the persons who put on the games, indicating, that apologizing, as well as it appeared to include some sort of explanation as well. And unfortunately, the damage has been done. Some are arguing that there was an attempt to make the Lord's Last Supper appear to be, something that's being mocked. Others, on the other hand, are saying it wasn't the Last Supper that is being depicted, that something else was being depicted. But notwithstanding, some persons are saying that that something else that was being depicted maybe should not have been presented either as well, because it might be just as bad. You have different views on what was done. Of major concern is the fact that it is a family-friendly event, meaning the Olympic Games. Would you want your child to be watching what was being shown? We have as guests this morning to look at this very, I would say, serious matter. Bishop Apostle Grace Adigold, founder of Arise Shine Apostolic and Deliverance Ministries, and Dr. Wayne West, chair of the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society. Dr. West, Bishop Apostle,
good morning. Good morning, Bishop Adigold, and good morning, Mr. Marshall.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Well, first of all, starting with you, Dr. West, what on earth was being presented at that opening ceremony in terms of that scene where there appeared to be this table and, looking at it, it could look easily like they're trying to depict the Lord's Supper, but not in a very complimentary way at all. And with drag queens and things of that sort. Dr. West, what on earth might have been happening here?
Well, I think that despite the claims to the contrary, they were depicting the Lord's Supper, because when you look at the positions of the individuals, they were laid out the way the Lord's Supper was laid out in Leonardo da Vinci's drawing, or his painting. Yeah. So yes, they were also, I believe, including what they were doing. They were showing the people as though they were in the Lord's Supper from their positions, but they were including the Greek god, they say Dionysius, and so on, and these drag individuals. So it was really clearly an attempt to disparage the Lord's Supper. That's what it was. I don't believe it was anything other than that. They are trying to backtrack on that now, but I think that's what the intention.
I have never seen anything that looks so scandalous in my entire life.
You are quite soft. My apologies. I'm not quite sure if it's my instrument, but you're very soft.
I'm saying I've never seen anything so scandalous in my entire life. It looked absolutely scandalous.
This is to be expected. I think that Europe, there are people in Europe who are secular. I always like to link things. And I believe that the people in Europe believe that there is no God, that God is something that only foolish people believe in, because they believe, some of them, that evolution is true. Others, they are just simply evil. But Europe, a lot of Europe is certainly post-Christian, and that's what we are seeing there, post-Christian Europe.
Well, there's an argument, that you can't have a vacuum. So if you remove God, something else will take the place. I gather that there was something of a breakout of prayer and praising and some sort of a mini revival post that the depiction at the opening ceremony. Did you hear about that, Dr. West?
As I said, you're very soft, but you said there was some prayers after. Yes, I saw images which they showed large crowds of Christians came out to pray and to say that, in other words, to make the point that we are here. These people are not only post-Christian, they are cowards, because they wouldn't do that to Islam. If they did that to Islam, they know they'd be dead. They know they can do it with Christianity or Christians. But yes, Christians did turn out to say, they didn't turn out to kill them as the Muslims would have done, but they turned out to pray in the streets.
I see. I suppose maybe what they saw was so ghastly that they said they have no option but to turn to Jesus. Bishop Apostle Adigold, your thoughts, your comments. I mean, you're seeing images of a headless woman and, celebrating a pagan water goddess, appearing to, depict drag queens or depicting drag queens. That's what they were. Bishop Apostle, how does it strike you, particularly from a spiritual perspective? Did you hear me, Bishop Apostle? Are you muted? We're not hearing you, Bishop Apostle, if you're trying to speak.
Yeah. As I said, you're quite soft.
Let me try to remedy that. Bishop Apostle, are you speaking now?
Okay. It is, you could see that it is intentional. They have summoned or they have invoked some evil spirit to participate in what they are doing. These people, they are very, very blatant, derogatory. It is an insult and assault.
I think we have lost you, Bishop Apostle. I think you're trying to indicate that they are invoking something. I think we have lost Bishop Apostle. Dr. West, it's unfortunate for such an important topic. We're having these technical challenges. Dr. Wayne West?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm hearing you.
Yes. I think Bishop Apostle is trying to indicate that it was intentional as far as she sees it.
Yeah.
And also they're trying to invoke something. I think she meant something spiritual. Any thoughts?
Well, as I said, to repeat, it was very intentional because I gather, let me just reflect why I say it was intentional. Because of the positioning of the individuals, but just that instead of using the disciples, they use people like drag queens and so on. And I think it's supposed to have ended up with the suggestion of a threesome, a sexual threesome. And yes, these people are disrespecting God. In the book of Daniel, the Bible tells us that in the last days, people will curse God. It is something that I have personally experienced from interacting with individuals over the internet, that individuals actually curse God. And so what we are seeing is not unexpected. In fact, we as Christians should expect that as we get closer to the end and people reject God, they not only would do things like what they've done there, they would mock God, curse him, and Christians will be beheaded. That will be the kind of aggression that there will be against the gospel of Jesus Christ. That if in the book of Revelation, it speaks to the fact that there are people who are under the throne, who have been beheaded for the cause of Christ. So hostility to Christianity will increase. So it will not only be depicted in something like what we saw, but it will be worse. It will be actual violence against Christians.
Dr. West, we are upon a break, and I do sense great hostility towards Christians these days. We'll be right back at the Morning Watch.
Time on Love 101 is now 7:15 a.m.
living smart TV with sound bars that they get everywhere. Samsung Galaxy smartphone a day. S24, S24 day. Plus 3 grand prize when I get money for splash. $1 million each in a big money cash.
Get trivia prices of data and credit. Switch to Flow or activate any unlimited prepaid plan. Or pay a yard and road bill on time and in full for chances to win. Conditions apply.
Jamaica, it's here again. Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. Come get your wires, breakers, solar flood lamps, LED bulbs, ceiling fans, and so much more. Call 876-937-5099 or visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Up to 60% off this summer. Get your solar panels starting from $17,600. Come shop, come save at Phosphorage Super Summer Sale, July 1 to August 31. See you there at Phosphorage. Open Sundays.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the first watch. The topic is an Olympic ceremony that mocks Christianity. And our guests are Bishop Apostle Grace Adigold and Dr. Wayne West. Bishop Apostle Grace Adigold, I hope we can hear you a little bit better now.
Okay.
Bishop Apostle Grace Adigold.
Okay. Yes.
No. Okay. I was making a comment just before the break that I do sense a greater hostility these days towards Christians, certainly in terms of persons who view and are taking an interest in American politics. I've heard people say some of the most ghastly things, unkind things against particularly evangelical Christians. And you hear that sort of tone where they're saying evangelical Christians who might take a certain view on politics is almost as if they should be condemned. And here we're seeing on the Olympic stage what many persons would regard as a condemning of Christianity. We know that there are persons who have alternate views. They might say it wasn't Christianity that was being mocked, but we have heard the views of persons such as Dr. Wayne West. We were hearing your views earlier. You mentioned an invoking of something. Would you like to develop on that? And what particular symbols and themes you think were mocking Christianity in the depiction? Bishop Apostle? Bishop Apostle, can you go to stop cam? Maybe that will assist you. Or maybe we will switch to having you join the platform by another technology, because the one that you're using, obviously, there's a bit of a challenge with that. Dr. West, until we bring in Bishop Apostle with another device or another form of technology, what lessons can we learn from this, sir? Because the Olympic Games is supposed to be an event that brings people together, but that depiction did not bring a lot of people together. It created more division, if anything. Dr. West?
Well, what you should expect that those who are hostile to Christ would not be able to restrain their hostility, because if you notice, the individuals who were used as instead of the apostles who sat around Christ were people from the LGBT ideology. And the fact that the reality is LGBT ideology cannot coexist with Christianity. The two are opposites, 180-degree opposite. You will find persons who want to say that they are LGBT Christians. That's an oxymoron. Christianity defines intimate relationship between a man and a woman, and that man and that woman are the image of God. The LGBT ideology is the opposite, sexually nihilistic. Everything is permissible. You can do whatever you want with whoever you want. And it's anarchist in that it is not answerable to anyone but themselves. So those two things cannot go together. One is of the devil, the other one is of God. So we should, the people who portrayed what we saw in the Olympics are LGBT ideologues. They are people, the lady who was the fat person who was supposed to be Christ in the middle, I gather she is a lesbian, and on her Instagram post, she was quite proud of what they did. And as you know, you saw other people who were quote unquote men in drag and so on. This is the devil. The devil is the enemy of God. So we will expect more and more of these type of things. The problem for Europe is that they have foolishly brought in among them Muslims. And so whereas they hate God, what's going to happen to them is in the next maybe 10, 15 years, places like France are going to have more Muslims, will probably have more Muslims than they have secular atheist people. And those Muslims are probably going to turn against those secular people because they do not tolerate, unlike Christians, the Muslims are use physical force to resist those who do anything against their worldview. You remember some years ago, a French magazine was shut up and people were killed. So France is going to move from Christian to secular to Muslim. That's, I think, is the trajectory. And it will be quite different for the French people. Life will be very different for them.
Do you think
but that is what I think.
Do you think it's like the Crusades in reverse?
It is the Crusades in reverse, but the thing about it, who brings people, who brings an army into their own country and are unable to respond to that army because they have become so woke, so progressive, so inclusive, and so hostile to Christianity that they allow the Muslim army to grow and overtake the country. But I think that's where Europe is going. Europe is going to become Muslim.
Well, they talk about diversity and inclusion, so they
except for Christians.
They accept. I think that's an interesting point. It doesn't seem to apply to Christians. Bishop Apostle, are you hearing us now?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Not so loud, but I'm hearing you.
And I think we're hearing you much better now. Bishop Apostle, what symbols, if any, in the depiction that was used at the Olympics opening ceremony that many of us are saying mocked Christ, what symbols, if any, were in particular being used to mock Christianity and to invoke whatever you are indicating to us was being invoked?
Okay, well, I did not hear properly the first part of your statement, but the invocation that
let me give a little bit of detail here. There was an image of a headless woman. There was debauchery, there was drunkenness, there was celebration of what appeared to be a pagan water goddess, and of course there was the inclusion of drag queens. Continue, Bishop Apostle.
I am telling you, anywhere these things takes place, they will have invoked evil spirit. It is the beginning of the falling away, like this, or the strong delusion.
Stick up in Bishop Apostle. You mean the great falling away spoken of in the Bible?
It is the beginning of the falling away. It has not reached the great falling away, but it's going that way. It is going towards that end.
I see.
And the strong delusion. Okay. I mean, Reverend West, or I'm sorry, that has spoken before me, mentioned something that France is going to now become secular and then Islam or Muslim. But I'm telling you, 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 4 has spoken about that the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ should shine unto them. It is those people that are weak, that do not even know who they believe, that can easily be carried away with that. Because this world tends to be carried away by every negative. What they have done is a serious mockery of our God. And he who sits in the heaven shall laugh them to scorn. I mean, these people, they are not learning. They do not learn. Because those who have mocked God as individual or as a nation, we saw in the past decades what happened to them. Even in the very, like last year, 2 years ago, floods have carried away nations that did not. There was a particular nation. I'm sorry, right now the name of that nation skipped me, where they had put up something like a Satan. I don't know if it is Satan or something, and they were dancing and dancing. And I'm telling you, shortly after that, flood came, earthquake, and all kinds of things just carried them away. And also the Muslims. I also want to say that we have to be. They are the worst enemy of Christianity is Muslim, is Islam. And last year, after we had prayed and prayed globally, because I had a program which is called Global Spiritual Warrior Summit. I'm not saying we are the only ones that pray, but we prayed heavily. And I'm telling you, like 2 weeks after that, 500 mosques were shut down in Iran. And a lot of them, thousands of people, gave their life to Jesus Christ. Because why? These are the people, they are anti-Christians, people that hate God. But God is shaking those nations. So those people, and if you, just as it was said, the LGBTQ, whatever, they are coming out in different ways to mock God, because it is very painful for them that they have not been given the license worldwide in order to practice, in order to change this whole wide world to follow them. So they are using every opportunity that they can get to mock God. But they have to be careful. He who mocks God mocks themselves.
You know,
Doctor, they want to face the wrath of God.
Bishop Apostle, only because of time, I just want to jump in. Some people are going to argue that you indicated that Islam and Christianity are, like water and oil, they don't mix.
Serious enemy.
Some persons will argue that you have moderate Muslims who can get along with persons of any religion, including Christianity. Any comments on that? Because I've heard this quite often.
Sorry, I don't hear that.
Some persons will argue that you have moderate Muslims who can get along with Christians or persons of any other religion.
No. That's not true. They do not believe in Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. And he who denies the sonship of Jesus Christ is against him. And I come from a nation, Nigeria, where Muslims always rise up to persecute Christians.
To persecute Christians.
Say that again.
To persecute Christians.
Yes. They burn down church. They go inside and slaughter pastors, preachers by the pulpit, and so on and so forth. And if you come from a family of Muslims, and then somebody, you give your heart to the Lord, they're going to kill you, or they can poison you. Put something in your food and you die.
I know that Nigeria, about half the country is Islam and the other half is Christian. So I understand.
It's not hard, but they are trying to become half.
They are trying to become half. You mean the Muslims are trying to become half?
Yeah, they are claiming that, but it's not true.
I see.
There are states where they are, predominantly Muslim, but Christians are there.
Very
interesting.
Then
you have more states where a lot of Christians are. Yeah.
Only because of time, Dr. West, this was supposed to be, the Olympics is supposed to be a family-friendly event. You had, in this opening ceremony, I didn't see this one. I gather that you had persons with their private parts being displayed in front of children. And what do you make of this, sir? And where do we go from here as a world, as Christians in the world?
Well, Christians are to spread the gospel, and we are to continue to do so until the Lord comes. That is our thing. That's the great command, that we are to make disciples of all nations. So we are to keep preaching the gospel. But we have to do so with understanding that the world is under the influence and being deceived by the devil, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Dr. West, you might want to take your child or grandchild, or I don't know. You want to take your child to an event and you don't know what to expect. We don't know if this is what we're going to end up seeing. A little 5-year-old child seeing this sort of depiction of private parts being displayed. They might go overseas.
That's what they want to bring into the schools. That's comprehensive sexuality education. That's what the LGBT people want to bring into the school. That's what the European Union want countries who signed on to the Samoa Agreement to teach children in schools. to expose them to people
Dr.
having sex
West,
and so on.
Dr. West and Bishop Apostle, more and on indeed.
Yes,
We are at the end of our time. Thank you for your time and for your thoughts this morning. More and on. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Anything possible with a little savings in your hand.
The time by Jan Bank is
7:31 a.m.
As we follow Grace Sardine, follow the better flavor. Grace Sardine with the chef and the beginner. Follow the pan with pepper, that are the winner. Shop on supermarket, everybody sell it. You all of them nice. Pass the part, make us shell it.
Pick up Grace Sardines with peppers, vegetable oil, water and olive oil with peppers.
Cook it up, breakfast, lunch or dinner. Shake it out, spice it up, make it simmer. Grace Sardine, yeah, the better flavor. Quick and easy as you print it. Ready?
Grace Sardines, follow the better flavor.
I love doing my own thing, so to have to live by my landlady rules, kinda rough. I can only park near the front gate, to the right of the mango tree, but not on the lawn. Well, I fulfill two dreams with one Jane Bank savings plan. I buy my dream home, and I live by my own rules.
Save so you can build the house, buy the land, have goals and dreams and a plan.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
The report is out.
What report?
The Constitutional Reform Committee's report of recommendations.
Recommendations on what?
On how we move from a monarchy to a republic, of course.
So what's in it?
The creation of the office of president and changes to our parliament. Yes, man. It also includes a new qualification for membership in parliament. I know you want to see that one.
Read the full report at roadtorepublic.mlca.gov.jm.
We are on the road to republic.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's take a look now at our news sources to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. And we have in Loop Jamaica news, NCB's Hurricane Relief Fund hits target. And we have also in Loop Jamaica news, Green, referring to Agriculture Minister, Green commits to fight tooth and nail to combat yam rust disease. We have in the Observer a number of headlines here. As good as gold. Atta Bolden predicts 200-meter win for Sherika Jackson. And another one here. What Shelley wants, Shelley gets. Very interesting, referring to Shelley and Fraser Price. We also have, we have now in the Gleaner, Caribbean passports improve rankings on list of world's most powerful passports. And we, in addition, have here Caribbean leaders cautious about results of Venezuelan elections. And 3 men convicted in billion-dollar cocaine bust. Those and many other stories in our various news sources. Coming up next, we'll read for some of the feedback from our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp question, which is, what are you looking forward to most this Olympic Games? If you haven't done so yet, leave your responses on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp your comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
This is a special announcement from Love 101 and Love Television. Our general offices will be closed to the public on Emancipation Day, Thursday, August 1, and will reopen on Friday, August 2 at 8:30 a.m. Our offices will also be closed on Independence Day, Tuesday, August 6, and will reopen on Wednesday, August 7 at 8:30 a.m. Programs and commercials for the period Thursday, August 1 through to Friday, August 2 should be submitted by 12 noon on Wednesday, July 31. Obituaries and notices should be submitted by 1:30 p.m. on the same day to ensure scheduling for broadcast. Programs and commercials for the period Tuesday, August 6 through to Wednesday, August 7 should be submitted by 12 noon on Monday, August 5. Obituaries and notices should be submitted by 1:30 p.m. on the same day to ensure scheduling for broadcast. Love 101 and Love TV wish for you and yours an exciting and memorable holiday.
On the next episode of The Mailbox, we will continue the journey in the world of technology as we focus on the topic Men and Technology, Part 2. We will take a further look at men and their interaction with the virtual space. What are some of the ethical issues that must be addressed as we implement new forms of technology? Is there such a thing as AI evangelism? And what can the church do to maximize the use of technology to get more men involved? You are invited to join the conversation with Dr. Sheldon Campbell, pastor, AI author, and enthusiast on Wednesday, July 31 at 5:30 p.m. on the family station Love 101. The Mailbox is brought to you by Solid PVC Pipes, manufactured in Jamaica by Fosrich Company Limited. The Mailbox. Monday, yes.
A frequent command given to God's people in the Old Testament is to fear God or fear the Lord. Only as we truly fear the Lord will we be freed from all destructive and satanic fears. By fearing God, we can avoid being trapped by the natural pull towards going our own way, defying God, and giving in to the inviting ways of immoral behavior. So, how is this fear lived? Tuesday, July 30, on The Rock. Join guests Reverend Prophet Mark Stewart and Pastor Silburn Carr as they discuss the topic, the fear of the Lord. That's The Rock, Tuesday, July 30 at 10 a.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the second watch, and the Olympic Games began on the 26th of July, and it's slated to continue until the 11th of August. And already these games have started with a lot of, a memorable bang, although not quite on the field or not so nicely, certainly not yet, maybe. But Jamaica's team is there, our team is there, and what has been happening with the team so far, and what will happen next in the couple of days we have left in the Olympics. We have as our guests in this second watch to have a discussion about this, Dwayne Richards, Chief Executive Officer of Yardi Sports, and Andrew Green, sports commentator. Dwayne, Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, that's you, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Richards and Mr. Green. Now, what are the highlights of the Olympics so far? How is the Olympics as a whole, not just the quote-unquote, sports we all know about, but even some of the newer sports taking place? And how is Jamaica doing? Starting with you, Dwayne.
Well, Jamaica hasn't started yet. I think that a lot of people are anticipating a whole lot of things to come in the next couple of days. Our swimmer and our track athletes will begin on the same day. And I think that there's been a lot of anticipation and a lot of build-up around these games because of what some see as a changing of the guards in our track and field team. We have a lot of youngsters who will be making their debut. We have one veteran, Danielle Williams, who will be making her debut. She has 2 World Championship gold medals, but this will be her first Olympic Games. And I think that's one of the most remarkable stories going into the Olympic Games as far as Jamaica is concerned, that she's done exceedingly well for us at the international level, at the World Championship level. But this is the first time that she's made it to the Olympic Games. She's had issues and a number of attempts to get to the Games, but this year she's finally there, and she can be counted as one of the favorites based on what she's done, including last year.
Andrew Green.
Yes, sir.
Your thoughts so far?
Well, I'm excited about the prospects. First of all, good morning to the viewers and listeners of Love 101 FM. I am excited about the prospects, and as Sir Dwayne said a while ago, we're looking forward to Friday to come so that we can see our athletes in train. But I must mention though Ashley Mackenzie, the Jamaican judoka, the judo man who made history for Jamaica. The one his first fight, and moved on to the round of 16 where he was eliminated. But he has made his mark, and we look at these dark horses in this Olympics going forward and making history for the nation.
What do you think Jamaica is looking forward to, Andrew Green? What do you think Jamaica is looking forward to?
I tell you, we have been saddled with injuries. Sad to say, Elaine Thompson era and all that, but we're looking forward, nonetheless, to a great Olympics. We have always done well despite the challenges that we have been having. I would love to see us eclipse the 2012 Olympics when I think it was 12 medals we garnered. I would love to see that. But realistically, I'm not looking for that many medals, but I think we are going to do very well. I look forward to the 100 meters clash in the men. I look forward to the 100 and the 200 with Sherika, and Shelly and Fraser Price. Oh, the veteran. This is her last Olympics.
I thought Dwayne was going to make reference to her when he said veteran, but I left it alone.
Yes,
but continue, Mr. Green.
Yes. So
in fact, there's a headline here in one of our daily newspapers. What Shellyan wants, Shellyan gets. It's in the Observer. What Shellyan wants, Shelly gets. Sorry, what Shelly wants, Shelly gets. With a picture of Shelly and Fraser Price. Dwayne Richards, your thoughts? What Shelly wants, Shelly gets?
Not so much this time around, because I'm certain that she wants an Olympic gold, but I don't see that happening. But what I would love is to see her bow out of the Olympic Games on the medal podium. It'll take a lot of work. There are a lot of questions that have been asked of her knee. It's been heavily strapped since she made her season debut, but none of what I've heard coming out of France suggests that she's bothered by it, because people have been watching her training sessions closely. There have been videos of her, and we haven't seen anything that suggests that she's bothered by it. It seems that the tape may be for support of the knee, and I think that she'll ease through the rounds. She knows how to do that to qualify for the finals, and then from there it's about who executes, and we know that she is one who executes well. Pardon me. And we just have to hope that she gets that world-class start that she's known for. And if she does that, then she'll be there or thereabouts to be able to get a medal. It's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. Sha'Carri Richardson is in supreme form. She's there to get the gold medal, to vindicate herself from what she's not done before at the Olympic Games. So she, in Sha'Carri Richardson, is the absolute favorite, but Shelly Fraser Price wasn't the favorite when she made her debut in 2008 and she got gold. She knows how to get the job done, and we can only hope that someone who's done it for so long will end up, from a Jamaican perspective, on the podium at the end of these Olympic Games.
I don't know how you'd view this. There's a headline here in the Observer 17 hours ago online. It's over for Elaine Thompson Hera, says Atto Bolden. Do you agree with Atto Bolden, Dwayne Richards?
No, I don't. Clearly, she has a serious injury and she has to deal with it. To recover from it will require an examination of her mental strength and her physical strength. And she has
Hold that
to give
thought
herself
one
time.
second. Hold that thought 1 second, Mr. Richards, because we're upon a break. Listen, please stay with us. We'll be right back in the morning watch.
Grace our teeth for the chef and the beginner. Follow
follow the one with pepper. That are the winner. Shop on supermarkets. Everybody
Great
sell it.
sardines, follow the better flavor.
The time is
7:45.
Tiles, and more tiles! It's the Totally Tile sale event at Home and Things. Enjoy up to 70% off select mosaic tiles. Check out our new arrivals of elegant Spanish porcelain and stylish ceramics at unbelievably low prices. Save big on A-grade floor and wall tiles. Trendy designs, colors, and sizes. We've got it all. Plus other discounts store-wide. Catch the Totally Tile sale event now on at Home and Things, Old Hope Road and Constant Spring Road. Lots of tiles, lots of styles.
The report is out.
What report?
The Constitutional Reform Committee's report of recommendations.
Recommendations on what?
On how we move from a monarchy to a republic, of course.
So what's in it?
The creation of the office of president and changes to our parliament. Yes, man. It also includes a new qualification for membership in parliament. I know you want to see that one.
Read the full report at roadtorepublic.mlca.gov.jm.
We are on the road to republic.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is now accepting applications for the Dr. Barry Wint Memorial Scholarship. Jamaican citizens pursuing a first degree, master's, or PhD in any health-related field, including medical social work, human resources for health, nursing, dentistry, health economics, or any other, can qualify for up to $1 million per year for 5 years to complete their studies. Visit www.moh.gov.jm/scholarship for more details and to submit your application. Deadline date is Wednesday, July 31, 2024. We look forward to seeing your application.
To my little bird on her graduation day, my pride is swelling thinking about the future that lies ahead for you. Go see the world. Follow that passion for music you have. Find someone as amazing as your daddy. And never forget, my love for you has no end. Love always, Mommy. 5 years ago, I promised her I'd read this to you today.
Thanks, Daddy.
Your love lives on with life insurance from Sagicor. Talk to an advisor today.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the second watch, and the topic in the second watch is Olympics 2024 so far. Our guests are Dwayne Richards, CEO of Yardie Sports, and Andrew Green, sports commentator. Just before the break, Dwayne Richards, you were indicating that you do not agree with Atta Bolden, who indicated that it's over for Elaine Thompson-Herah, and you are beginning to explain that essentially one needs to ensure that she will have the, I'm going to frame it in another way, the mental toughness to proceed and continue to develop your point, sir.
Yes, you see, she has had a career that's been plagued with injuries, and she has always had a good time at the Olympic Games, but not at the World Championships. And so she's been through it. She knows how to deal with it. And the question is, at her age, now that she's in her 30s, is she strong enough to come back one more time? And only she can answer that question. So I don't think that she's done. I think that she will give herself time to recover. And as long as she does that, because she doesn't have anything to prove to anybody, you know, what she's done as a track and field athlete, double at the Olympic Games, is historic. She has nothing to prove to anybody. So it's about how long she wants her career to last. And as long as she's willing to give herself time to recover properly from this injury, she'll be back.
Understood. You agree, Andrew Green?
Certainly, sir. Yes, I agree with Sir Dwayne, because you cannot write off a champion. You know, many persons have written off or had written off Shelly Ann, you know, especially after she became married. She got married, she had a child. They say, well, that is it. And she came back and she did it even better before she had the child, Zion. So you see, we can't write off this double, as Dwayne said, the double champion, double Olympic champion. We were sorry that she couldn't make it a hat trick of championships. But of course, alas, injury stepped in. But I can't agree with Otto.
What about the male athletes for Jamaica in this Olympics, starting with you, Dwayne?
Well, I think that we have an exciting bunch. Certainly,
Yeah.
all the talk has been around the 100 meters. Kishane Thompson, a lot of people didn't know about him because he's one who was consistently getting injured, showing signs but getting injured. They have figured it out at the MVP, how to get him stronger, how to get him to be able to cope with those injuries. And they're pretty confident of what it is that he can do. What he did at the national championships is something that I was expecting based on what I'd heard about what they had done in terms of getting a machine that would help him to train better. And so he has shown that, he's shown that he is in the shape physically to do what is required. And the question around Kishane Thompson is, can he manage the rounds? Can he go on to deliver? And I think that he'll answer those questions at these Olympic Games. I think that he's ready, both mentally and physically. There is no pressure on Kishane Thompson. So he will be able to go out there and just execute. So.
And what about other sports within the Olympics? For example, we have here a national triple jump champion, Jaden Hibbert. I don't know if you have anything to share on that.
A year ago,
Jaden
was favorite at the World Championships. This year, we've had a couple of other gentlemen who have done well, who are veterans in the sport, who will be challenging him. So he does not go into the Olympic Games as the favorite because they have longer distances than him. And I think that will take away some of the pressure, because there was a whole heap of pressure on him as an 18-year-old last year at the World Championships to go out there and win the gold medal. And it didn't happen because of injury. The pressure and the spotlight isn't on him as it was last year. And I think that will help him to be able to just focus on executing. And we may see an Olympic gold medal for him, but certainly if he doesn't suffer any injury, I expect to see Jaden on the podium.
Well, I think no matter how he does, he may be giving all praises to God. He's noted here as a devoted Christian in an article here in the Jamaica Observer. Andrew Green, the male athletes, including Mr. Hibbert, Mr. Thompson, and others. Andrew Green.
Yes, Dwayne said it well. Kishane, the Virgin does, he has done well. In fact, the records would show that he has the leading time. I think if Dwayne could correct me if I'm wrong. 9.77
You're not
seconds.
wrong. You're not wrong at all. and that's why it's so interesting to hear the Americans speak, because opinions are opinions and facts are facts. And the fact is that the Jamaicans have better times than the Americans going into the
Of course.
game.
And then again, that's no comfort, because Ferdinand Omanyala from Kenya, 9.79. Noah Lyles, the man who loves to roar, from the USA, 9.81 seconds. Oblique, our own Oblique Seville, 9.82. So we see these these guys, the prospects are looking good. Jaden, the KC alumnus, he is really, really doing well as well. And we expect him to go out and do well for Jamaica.
And we have an issue here. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Some may say it's an issue, some may say it's not a big issue. But some athletes, it is indicated, were not able to attend the opening ceremony because of some sort of a sponsorship or branding issue. Any thoughts on that, gentlemen? Dwayne, you heard about that? Is it an issue or
a limitation? It was a limitation on numbers. They didn't. No nation was given the numbers that they required who had big teams, and it even happened with the Nigerian women's basketball team. They showed up for the event. Everybody was going on a boat, and they weren't allowed. So I don't think it's branding. I think it has to do with the number of tickets allowed per team, and so some are able to go and some weren't. Obviously, if you're a first timer, you'd want to be a part of the ceremonies, and it would be a disappointment if you weren't able to go. But I don't think it would be too much for the veterans who would have been there and done it time and time again. So it depends on who you speak with, but I don't think it was about branding, because certainly no country will violate the branding restrictions at the Olympic Games, because the people who are around the management team know what is required and what is allowed and what isn't. So I don't think it was that. I think it was the numbers, because I've heard of other teams that had similar issues.
So what was the furor all about? Couldn't it have been explained, or was it explained to them that there's a numbers limitation, and maybe some people either didn't hear or forgot? What really happened there?
Sometimes it's information lag. Sometimes the information will reach certain areas before it reaches to other areas. The athletes are spread across the Olympic Village. Maybe they just didn't get the information at the time. And these things happen, because there are a whole lot of logistics going on at these games. I've been to games and I've seen it. And I know that, there are a lot of things going on, and people are at different places. The management team isn't necessarily in the village. And so it depends on how the information flows.
I see.
But these things happen, and obviously if you were looking forward to it and you weren't allowed to go, then you'll be disappointed about it.
Now, there are some other issues that may not necessarily impinge on the games at the moment per se, but they are still considered relevant. We have had one athlete who it is indicated was unable to go simply because the name of the athlete wasn't submitted. There were issues about Hurricane Beryl, and Hurricane Beryl could have interfered with the sending of the name to the person. In fact, it's indicated now that this particular athlete is having great issues with our local federation. At the Olympics themselves, arguably, persons may have been affected by arson attacks, sabotage of one form or another, or other challenges in Paris. I don't know if any of you gentlemen have any thoughts on all of these things, the local issue with the athlete who didn't get to go, plus things taking place in France, starting with you, Andrew. And then
I think it's a sad commentary, or amateur, making history, would have made history as the first Jamaican to compete in amateur in the Olympics, and she wasn't not afforded that opportunity because of administrative bundlings or just plain foolishness. And when they give the excuse why this was so, it is pathetic. It is another thing that I am peeved about. How you spoke about earlier, Dwayne, about the what obtained with administrative bunglings again, with the opening ceremony. That one was really it's a sad commentary, because we're talking about the first time in history that we're going to have an opening ceremony on the waters and outside of a stadium. It has never happened before, and they were just there. Everybody have their boats. Every country have their boat, and they're on the thing. But it's a sad occasion. The drag queen situation you spoke that in the watch before, it is a sad commentary. Christians are peeved. We're talking about the French. Leonardo.
Again, it's not only Christians.
Oh yes, even persons who are not Christians are really, really, really peeved about that. And France have dropped the ball. France has dropped the ball where that is concerned.
Dwayne.
Yes, I'm deeply, deeply disappointed for Naoka Clunis. She's been through it over the years. She has struggled without support. She has had to make all kinds of appeals for financial support to be able to prepare. And then to actually get the numbers that she needed, to get the distance.
You can probably write a book about this and make some money.
It's so disheartening for her, because I remember last year when she came to the national championships, she was the only one there. She was the only hammer thrower there, and she had to go through it quickly. She was there by herself Sunday morning. Most people aren't there.
Only because of time, gentlemen, I'm getting a signal. Mr. Richards and Mr. Green, I need to thank both of you now for your time. Only because of time.
Pleasure.
I'm getting a signal. Thank you, Mr. Richards and Mr. Green, for being with us in this second watch. Very interesting discussion, and of course, we look forward to more of the Olympics. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we look at other topical and controversial issues, and visit the Love 101 FM YouTube channel, Facebook page, and all other Love 101 FM programs. Listen to the Morning Watch on our Love 101 app. Download it today and stay connected to us. The family station, Love 101 FM, the number one gospel station in Jamaica. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer Kathy Gale and to our guests. I am Stokeley Marshall, handing it back to Love in the Morning with Jukal.
July